Y'all see back on here with another episode of Indigo Podcast. And today, the title of this episode is preparing for the new year. So first thing, bro, like 2025 went by so fast. Like I remember it was January, track season was going on, running the 800 in a mile, 2 mile, and then graduated high school, and then ended up doing a half marathon, doing a 5K, and now it's December 11th. Like it's crazy. So I don't know. I just feel like as I get older, the years go by quicker and quicker, and I just get more unk status as the years go by. So, yeah, I just had to mention that because I don't know. It went by really fast, and now the year's about to be over, about to transition into 2026. But anyway, first thing I want to go over is just kind of some of my goals for the year going into 2026. So these are really rough. I haven't finalized these at all, and my notes are on paper. So take these with a grain of salt. But just wanted to share a couple things I have in mind going into 2026. First thing that, it's kind of obvious. New half marathon PR, sub 120. I've kind of hinted at that here and there maybe, but, just getting faster in general as well. So in events such as the mile, 5K, maybe a 10K, but the main gist of the year is getting another half marathon PR under my belt since I've kind of threw a dart at the darting board with the first one. So I'm really comfortable. I guess comfortable is going to change over the years because the half marathon is going to get harder as you get faster, obviously. But I like the distance a lot. I feel like I can do a lot of damage in that distance, and I don't know, I just like it a lot. I think it's something that I can get really good at in the future. But that's the main thing, just chipping away at that. And if you're curious, I'll start the prep probably around March or February, something like that. But right now, just in the off season, so running 5 times a week, lifting 3 times a week, just trying to get stronger in the gym, progressive overload, and just kind of trying to maintain my base as best as I can until we start the prep. But I would like, sub 450 in the mile. I'm sure that'll come along with the half marathon prep because when I ran 453, that was obviously in half marathon prep. So, I guess I can continue the tradition with that. And then the 10K, it's kind of uncharted territory. I haven't touched that distance yet, but I think since I've done well in the half marathon so far, I think I can do pretty well in the 10K. But that's the first thing, running a new half marathon PR. I kind of think that's self-evident, but, had to throw that in there. Next thing I got here, just building the brand. So short form content, the podcast, just getting more eyes on it because I think I have a lot of good advice. So just sharing it to more people, more like-minded people, and just, getting people to think about things that they wouldn't traditionally think about in a normal setting. But, just getting better at editing, piecing things together, getting my message across in a clearer light, and just things like that, things of that nature. But obviously, views and likes correlate with that, but that's not the only thing I'm worried about. Just building a more tight-knit community. That's kind of my main focus with that, but that's definitely one of my biggest focus going into 2025 for sure. Then another thing too, just continuing the momentum in college. So the first semester, I'll give a quick synopsis of how that went. Honestly, in terms of online school, if you're looking into online school or hybrid schooling or whatever, I would recommend it. At least for kind of my style of learning and doing things in life, it makes things very easy to plan accordingly, if that makes sense. And it makes it really easy to just kind of gauge your week alongside your other obligations, such as school. Well, school, obviously, duh. I meant to say work and, training and things of that nature. Just other things you do that you like to do and you need to do. So I think online school just lowers the barrier for entry, and it just makes it way easier to get things done. But obviously with in-person school, you have the community aspect and, physically walking to school. Some people like that more. I haven't done that yet, so I'll never know. Well, maybe soon. I don't know how next semester will look with that. But based on the first semester, I liked it a lot. And honestly, like we got out 4 or 5 weeks early, which is crazy. That's such a jump from high school because, the standard 2.5-ish weeks, you come back that Wednesday. Based on how it went so far, I liked it. I'd recommend it, but to each their own. Some people like being in person on campus, so, take that with you will. But first semester, I liked it a lot. But last thing to go over, well, there's more things, but these are just 3 that I thought were the main things I wanted to go over for now. But just learning more about myself and gaining a solid peace of mind, And I feel like I have a lot more to learn about myself because this year I learned really the main thing is I kind of don't really know how to operate in terms of social media. And I think that's one of the main pitfalls of kind of my life right now, social media use. And I think once I can get a grasp of that and how to operate on there and use discernment correctly, because, I've yapped about it here and there, but I think I still have some things to work on with discernment. But I just think that directly affects how I think about myself in some instances. And I think just taking that out of the picture and really realizing that that's not real. I'm saying that's not real life. What's real life is me talking to you right now and just me going for runs and me doing things with other people I love. That's real life. Obviously there's things that are real. That's real people. I'm not saying they're all bots, but a lot of the perception, the ideologies on there do not translate in real life. And it honestly makes it way worse for you in the grand scheme of things. But I just feel like I have a lot more to learn. I feel like I was really naive going into the year, because I feel like in the beginning of the year, I didn't think I knew everything, but I feel like, consistency can trump everything. I mean, consistency can do a lot, but I feel like it can't substitute, self-care, taking care of yourself and talking to yourself correctly and just knowing how to operate. I don't know, just something I wanted to throw in there, yap about for a bit, but main gist is I just feel like I have a lot more to learn. I feel like I'm going to be learning more about myself forever. It's not just a one-time thing. So yeah, that's just some things I kind of want to square away going into 2026. And it's good to have goals going into the year. I've talked about that in the last podcast episode. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to do going into 2026. But anyway, top 3 albums of the year. I mean, I've kind of done this a bit loosely earlier in 2025, but this is my final list. This isn't going to change. I mean, there is some new music dropping this Friday, like the Nas and DJ Premier album. And I think Conway the Machine's dropping. I mean, you might not even know who these people are, but they make pretty good music. I mean, obviously Nas, I'm sure you know who that is. But, anyway, this is my final top 3 albums of the year. It's not going to change. So first one, I mean, if you follow me, you know how much I've hyped this album up. Live, Laugh, Love by Earl Sweatshirt. Like, bro, no skips. I've literally played this album all the way through a billion times, like going for car rides or being in the gym or going for walks. Any instance is getting played all the way through. It's literally 10 songs, 30, not even 40 minutes. Like, bro, it's just straight crank all the way through. And I would say this album is very lighthearted in comparison to Earl's darker albums. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Earl fan ever, but this album may change that. But from what I've heard, I used to listen to some rap songs a lot when I was younger, which is crazy in elementary school. That's wild. But well, actually, I think middle school. But either way, I was younger. But, his albums used to be a lot darker, like, darker subject matter, like depression, anxiety, just past traumas and things. And in this album, I feel like he's trying to resolve that. Well, not resolve. I feel like you can't necessarily resolve it, but he's trying to come to acceptance with it and just reflect on it and just learn that, I'm not that anymore. I can be greater than that and I can grow from that. So I just appreciated that a lot, because I can relate to that a lot just from personal experience. But favorite song, though, Exhaust. Like, bro, just play Exhaust. It's literally, I have no words, bro. It's just peak. It's literally peak, bro. Because if you literally go on a late night drive to that, bro, no matter if you're driving or if you're with someone, it's just a vibe, bro. It has an ethereal beat, his smooth flow. I mean, some people say he's too monotone and he's offbeat in some pockets. I mean, I don't really hear that. I like the way he flows on the song personally, but to each their own. But, bro, like, I mean, you can't go wrong with the song. It's personally my favorite off the album. There's other great songs on the album, obviously, like Crisco, Forge, the first song. Was it Golden State versus Sacramento? I think that's what it's called. But yeah, number one. I mean, it was undisputably number one. It wasn't even competition. I mean, all these other albums under it are great, but this one just related to me the most, so that's why it's number one. Next album I got here, Let God Sort Them Out by Clips. And I've mentioned this album briefly before, but it hasn't fallen out of my top 3 at all, just hearing everything else I've heard throughout the year. But the main highlight, obviously, is the chemistry, because, I mean, Pusha T and Malice are brothers, so, I mean, it's kind of natural for them. But, I mean, it's pretty much no misses. I mean, the only miss I could kind of gripe with, I believe, what's it called? All Things Considered, that's what it's called. I don't really like the beat, I ain't gonna lie. Pharrell didn't really cook on that beat. I mean, he kind of dropped the ball a little bit. It's kind of like some Forever 21 type music. It just sounds flat and generic, in my opinion. But Malice and Pusha did their thing in terms of verses. It's cool, but I just don't really care for the song, to be honest. But I don't really visit the album as much as like Live, Laugh, Love. Like, that album, as soon as it dropped, like ever since then, it's just been carrying with me the whole year. But I still respect this album a lot. I go back to it here and there. Let God Sort Them Out. I go back to this album here and there. But anyway, favorite song. It's called Mike Tyson Blow to the Face. It's abbreviated, I'm not about to say all them letters. But Pusha T's flow, like literally off the rip, he's just going crazy. He's spazzing. And then Malice's flow and aggression just complements that. And then Pharrell's production, I mean, stellar as Pharrell. Other than All Things Considered, I thought that was kind of okay. But yeah, I mean, that's my favorite song. I mean, it fluctuates. It could be one day Let God Sort Them Out / Chandeliers. It could be Chains and Whips with Kendrick. It could be what else? FICO, maybe. Those are just some songs like I think of off the top of my head. But yeah, number 2, Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. Very good album. I mean, if you listen to rap music, this is pretty much in your top 5 at least. So it's not really a surprise, but this is number 2 for me personally. Number 3, Alfredo 2 by Freddie Gibbs. And I also mentioned this a little bit briefly earlier in the year. But I feel like also like with Let God Sort 'Em Out, this is kind of just a no-brainer for your top 10 or top 5. But I've been playing Alfredo 1 a lot more recently, actually. And I honestly think Alfredo 1 is better than 2. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's a more concise and compacted listen. I feel like there's more just hits on it. I don't know. It just flows better together. And I don't know. I just like the vibe of Alfredo 1 more than 2. That could change when I listen to Alfredo 2 more. But for now, I like Alfredo 1 more. But going to the favorite song, Gas Station Sushi. This is a hard pick, to be honest. This answer hasn't changed from when I mentioned it earlier this year. But I mean, some close seconds are Ensalada, obviously, Mar-a-Lago, and Lavish Habits. So those are interchangeable, to be honest, with Gas Station Sushi. But I don't know. Gas Station Sushi is like this kind of Tokyo, Japan type aesthetic. It's like, it feels like it's like wind blowing in the air. It's like late at night. It's a bunch of city lights going on. You're just walking through the city. I don't know, bro. It just, the Alchemist snapped on that beat. Just the whole vibe of that. It really captured my eye and I guess ear, technically. But I don't know. I like that song a lot. I had to go with that. Gas Station Sushi. Check that song out if you want to get into the album. But yeah, that's my top 3 albums of the year. I mean, it hasn't really changed, to be honest. I mean, Live, Laugh, Love was going to be 1 no matter what. But yeah, that's my top 3 of the year. So the third thing I want to go over is just some things I think you should keep in mind going into 2026. So first thing is, don't let your New Year's resolutions leave after January. So first thing I think about, January hits, right? Everybody want to go to the gym. Everybody want to eat healthy. Everybody want to run a marathon. Then with February, March, April, May, almost forgot my months, LOL. But, you know, as the year continues, people are like, you know, I want to do that in January. I want to do that in December 2025, but no, never mind. It's too difficult. You know, just not letting the fleeting motivation, just how fleeting that is, take you out of the game. You know, just not letting that derail you and stop you from doing what you want to do, you know, and focusing on consistency, discipline, and just committing to something that really pushes you, but it's also realistic and it's also just rational. It makes sense, you know what I'm saying, for the time being. That's the first thing I think you should keep in mind going into the new year. But the next thing is just the years wherever you make it. And I think this comes down to the sum of your decisions, because obviously there's good decisions for individual people. It varies from person to person, and there's bad decisions. Again, varies from person to person. It's subjective. So just knowing that when you're faced with certain decisions and certain things that may not serve you well, knowing what to do in terms of your core values and what you really value in life, you know. And I just think if you keep that in mind, it makes it easier to make quote unquote good decisions over and over and over again. And obviously there's going to be one-offs where you make a not so good decision for whatever that looks like for you, you know, and just evening out with consistency and things that actually serve you well throughout the year. Because obviously we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. So just giving yourself grace and knowing, okay, sometimes I'm going to mess up and sometimes I'm going to step the wrong direction or whatever, and just going back to course and reevaluating what went wrong and just going from there. Main thing, just the years, whatever you make it. Obviously there's things in life that we can't control, and that's okay. That's life. But just keeping in mind that there's a lot more things we can do, and we're more accountable than we think. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do to better ourselves and just step out and maybe change the trajectory of our families and just change the trajectory of our lives, you know. But anyway, not to get too deep on y'all, but the years, whatever you make it, that's the main thing I was trying to get across. But next thing, I think this one's really important. It's never too late to start your journey, whatever that may look like. So it doesn't matter your age, I'm saying your experience level, your skill. I think if you want to be a runner and you just get to step in literally and you get to it and you just give yourself the time of day, you can do it. And I'm saying it sounds corny. I've heard this in movies and pop culture for years, but it's real. And I'm saying once you get to it and you become consistent with it and, you know, you're committed to it, it can become real. Because for me, for example, I wasn't a crazy long distance runner. I wasn't really that good at all when I first started. I mean, I ran the 400. I was very mediocre. I wasn't that good in my opinion. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself, but that's just how I see it in my perception. But I mean, I started chipping away at it day by day, and I've gotten to a respectable spot in my opinion. So I just think whatever that may look like, whatever endeavor you're trying to go after, whatever your age is, you know, whatever the circumstance may be, it's never too late. It sounds corny, but it's real. And I'm saying just keeping that in mind and giving yourself grace in the time of day to do what you want to do, and not listening to all these other people say, oh, you can't do this, and oh, this norm, and oh, this tradition, or just whatever society's trying to push on you. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want to do. Make sure you maintain conviction in yourself and whatever you're doing, and just it's never too late to start. Just get started, put one foot in front of the other, and you'll go way farther than you would ever think. But anyway, that's just some things I think you should keep in mind going to the new year. Hopefully that helps y'all out going into 2026. But the last thing I want to go over is just thanking all of y'all for the support. Because I've noticed, some videos have done pretty well this year. Like, I think one of them got like 8K views as well. It was just weird. I was just showing some of my go-to meals and people like that for some reason. I mean, shout out to y'all. But other than that little blurb, I mean, I just appreciate all the support, with the half marathon, the prep with that, just all the kind comments and, noticing a bit more engagement with the podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in to me yap all day and, just things of that nature. I just appreciate all the support. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to just keep saying I appreciate all the support. I think y'all know what I mean, but I really appreciate it. Just people taking time out their day to see what I'm up to and what I think about things and hopefully adding it to their life and seeing if it works for them. But hopefully we can continue that trajectory going into 2026, just building on top of that with the content, short form podcasts, long form vlogs, maybe here and there. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to say for this podcast. 2026 is coming up really fast. So, just keeping all the things in mind and just learning that it's whatever you make it. Like I said, it's the sum up of your decisions and, yeah, I mean, it's just whatever you make it and make it a good one. But anyway, that's all I wanted to yap about for today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed and I'm going to see y'all next time.